What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Talking Dynasty. I am Adam Frex. We will be talking about one of the most anticipated times after the season, and that's the off season. First, I would like to bring in the co-host, J Money, Justin Olson. What's good, brother?
What's up, buddy?
Man, we know we'll start with the news of uh, EB coming back. Good, bad, indifferent.
I
What do you
don't
think?
think it. I don't think it really. I don't know. I don't think it could hurt. Really, I think our main attention needs to be on the defense. So I don't think it's gonna play any type of factor. Really.
I agree. Good, bad, and different. I think our offense is on a roll. Andy's the mastermind behind it. I don't think it's a bad thing because it's another year you have a system with a offensive coordinator who has had success. Uh, why that success hasn't translated to him getting a head coach job, I'm not 100% sure. But I'll take the move. I know um, some people was preferring that uh, we found somebody else to replace UV, but is what it is. Brian Adams, what's up, gentlemen? What's
What's
good,
up,
brother?
Brian?
I I'll text you back later, brother. I got you, by the way. Um, so yeah, it's one of those things. Okay. I'm cool. I don't dislike. I never disliked EB, but I'm Andy's had success of bringing in whatever offensive coordinator that he sees fit. We have success with it, so it's not a problem for me. I guess the second news that came out either yesterday or a couple of days ago, Anthony Hitchens. I would assume that's not something you're surprised by.
No, not at all.
Nah, I mean with the dead cap that we're up against versus the money that we save, it only makes sense. So
Right.
it's and now that you have Bolton just coming up and having over 100 tackles and 10 tackles for losses in the rookie. It's just the writing was on the wall when it came to that. So I mean, he I've never been a huge Anthony Hitchens fan, but he definitely was serviceable compared to some of the middle linebackers. Uh, he had the tough part is he was coming in and replacing DJ, so he had tough shoes to fill from the
Yeah.
get go.
He was a great tackler. I mean, he made some big plays that I could recall, but I mean,
He was very solid. He was very solid. He was a serviceable middle linebacker. I'd like to pick up whenever he came here because I anticipated him uh, uh, kind of being better against the run because we were notoriously bad against the run. Uh, Brian says, "I sure hope they cut number 55." What's your thoughts on Frank Clark as far as
I
like what we should do with him? Like,
I
which direction should the Chiefs? I mean, and I'll give you because I mean, there's a couple things. A, you kind of keep him where we're at as far as salary wise, which I don't see. B, you figure out how to restructure his deal, which is also scary. I don't want to add years onto it. If he takes less money, that's one thing, or you just outright cut him.
Yeah, I think we took our chance. It's time to cut those ties and uh, go young. I mean, I think they said this is like a defensive end slash wide receiver draft. So I think now would be a good time to go young in that area, you know, because I think with Patrick Mahomes, we clearly got our offense will be fine no matter what. We need to focus on
Right.
our defense. And at this rate, we're at the perfect position to cut Clark, get young, and hopefully get some young cornerbacks. And I think if our defense is you know can hold its own, I think there's we're good regardless at that point.
Man, I was kind of thinking about this the other day. I mean, a lot of these little, I'm going to use Brady for instance. A lot of his teams wasn't necessarily built around him having the best weapons. It was about him having like really the best defense and
Yep.
him being the best situational quarterback that I've ever seen. So he knew that his teams were going to be in games, and he also had the availability to, maybe he didn't have that top tier superstar wide receiver, but he could elevate a Julian Edelman, a Wes Welker, those types of guys, Deion Branch, and
Right.
we didn't need the top five receiver to. So as the Chiefs go forward, as with Patrick Mahomes as their quarterback, that was kind of, I was like, you know what, maybe I'd like to see those types of guys on the defense rather so much than offense. Like I love having Tyreek and I love having Kelsey and guys of that nature, but man, having a killer defense, especially with us playing at Arrowhead with the quarterback that we have, like maybe that's the as we start to transition out. Kelsey's getting older, Tyreek's still in his prime, and I still think Kelsey's in his prime too. But it's just something that I think that we should start to flip our roster to be a little more heavy on the defense.
Yeah, I agree. I think with Patrick Mahomes, the capabilities that he has of just making them big plays, uh, I think if we stiffen up our defense, like you said, very Tom Brady and the Patriots vibe, type vibe. Like, I mean, think of all the Super Bowls that Tom Brady won as the Patriots. You could think of superstars on defense on probably all of his teams. If we do that
Right.
with Patrick Mahomes, I think, we got a lot of Super Bowls ahead of us.
Well, I think that's the more successful way to actually, if you're going to kind of quote unquote build a dynasty. It's just that defensively, you figure out how to stop guys, and that you put your quarterback always in position to never be too far behind, and to do so. So let's go ahead and hop into the pretty much our off season. So pretty much, I really don't want to discuss what we think is going to be. Just a second. What we think is going to be um, potential free agents that we could bring in. The idea today, I just want to kind of focus on uh, who we believe will Chiefs that the Chiefs will keep. So, all right, sorry. We should be having another guest on here shortly, so we shall see. Um, so yeah, we'll kind of we'll break into that. So this is going to be the Chiefs' upcoming free agents. See who we want to keep, who we want to resign. Obviously, the big one, probably the Chiefs' most uh, influential player that's on defense, um, Tyron Matthew. What's your thoughts on? Do we retain Matthew? Do you think it's even logical for us to give a player that amount of money at that position? Has you know Matthew will be 30 years old coming up this year, and who knows what his salary will be. But you think, in your opinion, is Matthew an absolute must resign?
I mean,
You
if
have his
not the,
jersey. You got his little jersey on right there, so I don't know if this is an
uh,
indication of what you're thinking. So
I think you have to because if he's not at the free safety position, then who is? At this point, I feel like Juan Thornhill. Obviously, it's like he hardly played half the year last year, so we can't have him do it. Well, are we going to draft someone and hope that a rookie could play it? Like, I don't know. I feel like it's a must, or you got to bring someone else in that is a vet to kind of coach that spot. I would think, you
yeah,
know,
someone
s-
that has that much value to that particular position.
right?
Um,
Especially with Nick Bolton running the defense now. I think it's a he Matthew can help him kind of just double check him per se. So I feel like that's the true value there. But I
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I see that point, that viewpoint, but it's tough for me to like know. Because a lot of people say that was the value of Anthony Hitchens was the availability, how good he was at calling, getting the signals in, and get guys lined up. And we've also seen Matthew kind of do that thing, line his secondary up and such. So, uh, but Bolton maybe knock it out of the world with when it comes to that. That for me, it's still to be determined. That's not going to be like the complete factor that why I would bring Matthew back. I think Matthew was the reason because I think he's the heart and soul of our defense as far as um, chemistry wise. He's the guy who kind of gets things going. He's the one who holds guys accountable. He's he I still think he's a playmaker. And I know he got a he got a rap for not tackling this year. And there's you definitely can pull clips out of the season to where maybe it looked like he kind of shortened it up a bit and didn't go for the tackle. But I don't definitely dive down into that hole like some other people do, that they completely gave up on him as far as like him being a top tier tackler. I still think he's one of the better tackling safeties. I think he plays the ball well. So it's one of those things. I think that would be way too much of a hit against our defense, which, I mean, they had a good 8 game stretch where they played well, but through the totality of the first 7, 8 weeks and through the playoffs, it was not good. Hold on, I can't hear a fucking thing. This is the beauty of. All right, I'm gonna let you take over and talk about. Go ahead and talk about. Obviously Hitchens is gone, but Jaron Reed. Give me your short synopsis. It shouldn't be much of a synopsis to begin with when it comes to Reed. So I'll be right back. All right, buddy. So actually, I don't think it was me. So like, Seth just said you're silent. I can't hear you at all. I thought it was me that I couldn't hear. Uh, I thought my headphones were fucked up, but I tried multiple platforms. That's on you, brother. I have no idea what you are saying at the moment. So uh, go ahead and get that figured out, and I will. We'll see what's going on here. So, all right. I'd say, yeah, that's the technology, folks, because my shit had been messing up so much, I assumed it was me. Uh, but yeah, you never know. The show's getting worse by the damn day. It's garbage. Guess what? I don't care. Um, oh shit. Mm. So I'm not sure exactly what he was hitting on because, like the rest of us, nobody could hear him. I thought that was on my end. Um, so I know he probably hit Jerron Reed, and I'll kind of go over these guys quickly. Um, so Jerron Reed, absolute disappointment when it came to a signing that I was excited for, because one of the biggest things that I always look for is for the Chiefs to stop the run first, or any NFL team that what I would assume that needs what they need to do to be successful. Um, and so I don't think Jerron Reed's a resign guy. Then you have a guy who came in late, Melvin Ingram. So this is a guy who sound like Chris Collinsworth there now. Uh, I would love to have Ingram back. I think he's an absolute dog still. So I would absolutely love to have him back. And it's something that kind of goes back to what Brian was talking about earlier. The addition of Frank Clark 4 years ago, 3 years ago, it paid dividends for a short period of time, but we really haven't had much success out of any pass rushers, and unfortunately, that's why that we even had um, you bumped Chris Jones out to the side, because we've had such a lack of success from guys who are on the run. All right, so perfect timing, brother. As one guy's on, one other hops off. I would like to welcome first time to the podcast,
Yo, yo.
Joey. What's going on, brother?
Not much. First of all, I want to start off with something special because there's something I'm going to miss very dearly. And I just had to bring it on your show.
Uh,
And another thing, this will come back home to where it belongs eventually. It's
oh,
pretty.
get the fuck out of here with that.
Hey, I even cleaned it up. I got a shiny for the next guy, but that's only because I know it'll be coming back to me.
Yeah, hey man, you had a successful season, but fuck all you guys when it comes to fantasy football. I haven't had fantasy football success in multiple years, and oh yeah, let's not get into
Hey,
that.
you're going to be saying that even more here in a couple years when we're whooping
Fuck
our
Joey.
asses.
All right, fuck off, Joey.
Hey, I was giving you a compliment. In a couple years, you're going to be running that shit.
We'll see, man. I don't need compliments in a couple years. I try to bring rings home, well, next year, but um, all right, man. So I really haven't had the opportunity. Me and you have kind of went back and forth through text messaging. Um, going into this season, or this off season, what's kind of the since the Chiefs season has ended? What's your kind of the thoughts? There's been a lot of drama going on with that bullshit story. People are hating EB. They almost trying to find anything they can to get out of town. The NFL is fixed. Just kind of hit on whatever you want. Just kind of the thoughts of as the Chiefs going into the offseason.
Well, for the people hating on EB, guess what? You got to deal with them next year. So
Hell,
that's exciting.
you do.
Uh, there's multiple pictures out there. I don't think you hug someone you hate. Pat Mahomes definitely hugs EB quite often. So I think people just need to stop listening to social media, stop believing everything you see on the internet. Um, Another thing, I think what we need to expect this next season last season how strong we attacked the offensive line, which was crazy. I mean, they literally changed every position on that line. I think you're going to have to expect that on that defense this year. I mean, our front office is pretty smart based off the last couple of years, at least for sure. So, I mean, that defense, I think we're going to target that pretty strong. But I'd also like to see another receiver with us. Uh, Allen Robinson would be really nice. People question him, but I mean, he had Mitchell Trubisky as a quarterback and a rookie quarterback. I mean, washed up Nick Foles. I mean, he hasn't had, that elite quarterback to give him that opportunity to prove himself.
No, absolutely. Even before his time in Chicago, when he was in Jacksonville, I mean, and I think he spent a year in Dallas, I believe. I could be wrong there.
Yeah.
So, what in your um, in your opinion, do you think that's the most important piece? Is to not add another offensive weapon?
I don't know. We've seen some receivers last season. Um, they did pretty good, like Fontaine. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing his name wrong, but he made some pretty decent moves. I think we put a little more expectation to Josh Gordon and we expected a little more and got a little less. But honestly, I think Miko Hardman showed some promise there in the playoffs, this year. I'm not super comfortable with him. I'm not saying, oh, that guy should be our number two, but he should fill a roster spot, I think.
Yeah,
More
no,
than
absolutely.
Demarcus Robinson. I'd love to see him never again. But
Yeah, because okay, we were kind of going over these kind of our unrestricted free agents, and I'll pull the list back up here. And obviously Demarcus Robinson is on it. Um, is have we kind of like ran our course with him? Do you believe, or can you see him getting another year just because? We seem to put him out there. There was games where Robinson would get more snaps than Hardman. You know what I mean? And Pringle, he would be the number two receiver as far as snaps behind Hill.
honestly, I'd rather see us go after Pringle than Robinson. I think Pringle, he proved himself with the little opportunity he got. Obviously, those numbers started to get a little higher. He got more opportunity as the season and as the years go by. But I would love to see him before Demarcus Robinson. I think we just need to completely move on from that guy.
No, I agree. I think we're in the year 5 or year 6 with him, and that now they have that. They have an exception where a player counts as minimum salary cap, but you can offer them more money, and that's kind of the deal that was with him. So I was actually surprised that we had brought back um, Robinson last year. So just kind of going down this list as well, man. Melvin Ingram, he had a huge impact on the Chiefs whenever he came here last year. I think it's a pivotal thing that we signed him.
Uh, I'd love to have a better linebacker, but I think with money situation and priority situation, we should just go ahead and bring him back. I mean, he's not breaking the bank by any means.
Right.
And he, I had a debate with one of my friends the other day about this. To me, he had a bigger impact on our defense when he came in, and this is with all due respect, than Honey Badger did when he came in. And I mean,
Ooh.
that I'm not speaking. I'm completely speaking on playing on the field. I can't speak as a leadership. Leadership with Melvin Ingram hasn't really been spoke about, especially in Kansas City.
Right.
I mean, he's been with us for a partial of a season. Honey Badger
Uh,
obviously had that leadership side to him, but it's hard to also say that just because obviously with a guy like that at safety, he's going to be target less. So I mean, you got to take that in consideration. But Melvin Ingram coming in and letting Chris Jones be able to do what he does again, that was huge.
No,
That's what I heard.
I mean, that's actually, I haven't heard that viewpoint, but I definitely can get it because on field there was such a huge transition for how bad he was. To, you saw how much better it got. That may be a vindication, really, of the quarterbacks that we were playing. In my opinion, probably more than anything, but it definitely did help because that was the first time that we actually seen some type of pass rush, regardless of what team that we was on. Those first 7 weeks, there was literally zero pass rush. So I'm with you there on that. As far as like, I'd like to have Ingram back. I don't think he's going to break the bank. And I think the writing's on the wall for Frank Clark. It's going to be either you're going to have to uh, restructure your deal or you're going to be gone because uh, his dead cap this is the year to cut him if we're going to cut him because his dead cap number's not going to hit us. So then I'll kind of go on to this next guy that I've been a fan of ever since we traded for him, Charvarius Ward. So he's a guy who was making $3.3 million this year. I think his market's going to ask for a little bit more. What's your ideas on Ward?
I like Ward. I think he intimidates offenses that he go against. Obviously, I mean, a lot of people don't see him as earning that like X factor or maybe even superstar title. But I think, as far as money wise, and as far as like how he performs, he's the perfect guy for the job because he's not, obviously, like you said, it might go up, anything could happen. It might go up, might go down, but I still don't think he's a break the bank kind of player.
Oh, it's definitely not going down.
But he's definitely not breaking the bank, though.
No, he's not breaking the bank, but I could see him as a $7 million a year cornerback, though, man. That's a top-tier position.
But I think, like, when you look at our offense, you got people like Patrick Mahomes, you got people like Travis Kelce, you got Tyreek Hill. I still can't say – actually, I'm pretty convinced we're not comfortable with any of our running backs based off the way we played this last season, especially in the playoffs. I don't know if we even pay any of those guys, or do we go after a break-the-bank kind of player in that position?
No.
Or do we just do what Kansas City does and just keep next man up, get in there, run the ball? Oh, by the way, we have the best quarterback in the league, so we'll just throw it. But, I mean, just those three guys I mentioned, that quarterback, tight end, and receiver, those are break-the-bank kind of players, and I'm hoping to see some break-the-bank defenders. You got Chris Jones already. Frank Clark is breaking the bank when he shouldn't, and I want to find better linebackers. I mean, you're gonna hopefully Nick Bolton blows up. We're gonna be paying him in the years in the future. Willie Gay too. Honestly, Willie Gay might be better, but Nick Bolt has just came out hot, and you're gonna have to pay the man eventually. So people like Charvarius Ward are good to have.
Right. No, I agree. The guys that's not going to break the bank. It's not going to be your top tier cornerback who's going to take up $15 million. He might take anywhere between 7 to 8 and be one of the top 20 cornerbacks in the league, and that's something that I'll take. So
I'll tell you what, I like Mike Hughes too, though.
Yeah, so do I. But there are moments where Hughes looked a little lost there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really saying I like him, but I just more of like the utility guy. We could throw him out there at returner. I mean, sometimes he even looked confused there, but sometimes he made some pretty good moves. And to me, when anybody other than Mecole Hardman is back there catching the ball, I feel comfortable.
Yeah, that's definitely. He's the only guy I feel comfortable back there. I don't like Mecole Hardman as a punt returner, but we'll talk about that some other day. But so when it comes to Hughes, man, really when it comes to the whole cornerback position, I really like the depth there. I don't think none of them, other than Snead, has that absolute superstar ability, and that's still to be determined because he's not. He played very well this year, but I don't think he busted out into that star or superstar ability. So I like having Hughes on the roster, especially with how pass happy a lot of the league is now. And you're pretty much running nickel defense minimum just about every play, unless it's goal line defense there.
Right.
So obviously nobody's going to want Sorensen back if he comes back. I think that the memes will. I may just want him back just for the fucking internet to go absolutely bonkers and just for pure entertainment.
Entertainment.
I like a shit show.
Anything to get the attention off Patrick Mahomes, honestly, and his family. I'm just tired of hearing about them all.
Right. So, so like I said, I think we'll bring Pringle back. We'll bring him back on a 1-year deal. We got Henny. That's a give and take. I don't care. I mean, just like I like Henny on the team. He'll be 37 this year, I believe is what. Yeah, he'll be 37 this upcoming year. So it's one of those things. All right, Joe, we're going to bring back on Justin real quick. Let's see if he got his shit together. Here, I thought I was fucking my shit up because last time.
Well,
all right, brother, you good?
The mute button is right next to the volume control button, and it kind of got pushed
it is.
accidentally.
You had me all fucked up because last week I had such horrible internet connection and shit was crazy, and I was like, I can't hear him, and I thought it was me. Thank God for Steph saying it was you, because I was like, I don't know what the fuck's going on here. So,
Yeah, went and bought a brand new pair of headphones. Come back, they still didn't work. I was like, "What the hell?" I looked up and the mute button light was on. I was like, "Fuck."
yeah, well, that does no good. So, so me and Joey was talking about, which is important because if you think back to our Super Bowl season, Henny got hurt in the preseason, and then we had Matt, who's our
Moore.
backup? Matt Moore, yeah. I'll start with you, Joey. Like, how, Henny, did we bring him back just for the simple fact of, he's been in that quarterback room? I mean, and I don't think you can underestimate the backup quarterback. What he means to that room, and B, if something happens, what do you think we should do with Henny there?
I think with the man's age, it's more of, do you feel comfortable playing football still? If so, just come on back. You know our system. You know what we do. I mean, you're comfortable with the players around you. He's most likely comfortable with the coaches. As long as he's comfortable playing at 37 years old, go for it. I mean, I think it's just
what's your opinion on kind of how we approach our backup quarterback with Henny? Do you want new blood in there, Justin, or just keep rolling with Henny?
I think after that 4th down play against Cleveland, I think he's a Chief for life until he's done.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can see that. My thing with that is it's kind of like, what's the if you lose one, kind of what's your plan on replacing it? I know guys probably aren't a huge fan of the name, but if we don't keep Henny, I wouldn't mind seeing a guy like Nick Foles come back to the Chiefs. Good backup. He can come in and be a reliever. But as far as starting quarterback, nobody wants Nick Foles starting quarterback. But I think that will take, maybe a guy like that to come in and just be a backup. Another interesting one, Daryl Williams. We'll start with you again, Joey. Any thoughts? You bring him back? He'll be 27 this year.
What's the deal with Gore? Is he on the team?
He'll be on the team. He's like a restricted free agent, exclusive rights restricted free agent. So that pretty much he'll be back regardless. So if he was to sign anywhere, we can match it. So a lot of times those guys like that don't sign anywhere just because all those other teams will lowball them. So
honestly, I mean, if we have Gore, I'm not saying get rid of him, but either way, I think we're fine. Like I said, I don't think our team trusts the running back that we got. I don't think we trust Clyde. I don't think we trust Williams. I don't think we trust Gore. I think we're just, hey, who wants to run the ball right now? Who feels like they can do it right now? So honestly, like, get rid of him, keep him, whatever. I mean, I still don't think we're going to trust any of them. I think until the Chiefs get that, like, next Jamal Charles on the team, I don't think we really care who's at running back, especially when we have people like I mentioned earlier, Kelsey Hill, Mahomes. Like, we're just so comfortable with the scheme we have now. I mean, hell, we're comfortable with O-linemen throwing touchdowns and running the ball and doing all that stuff. So, I mean, I don't think it matters who's at running back unless we bring someone that's, like, blowing up the media.
Right. No, I agree with that. I don't think he's a guy that actually I think he's a good, solid player who deserves to be on the NFL roster, but he doesn't move the needle enough that, I think Clyde's going to go into next year being the starter.
For sure.
And just we'll bring somebody else in that might be a good fit. And, either way, we're good. So, Justin, what's your thoughts on that?
I think when it comes to the running backs, it's like I don't know. For one, I feel like he needs to go somewhere else for his own good. But for real, when it comes to the Chiefs, I feel like you said, with Clyde, we don't really – I mean, I think he's grown and I think he's getting there. It's just a slow process. But I feel like we could benefit majorly if we, get used like a 6th round on a running back and maybe he blows up. I don't see why it's a big deal
Yeah.
whenever, and it also depends on McKinnon too.
Right. Well, it depends on what McKinnon does. But, the Chiefs do that. I mean, it's been a couple of years, but we brought Darwin Thompson in, and, Hunt was a fourth or fifth round pick. So it's one of those positions that I'll give Andy. He kind of pokes at, offensive linemen, receivers, and running backs are positions that he will continuously just kind of look for depth in.
But at the
All
same
right.
time with McKinnon, though, are you going to hand him the ball? Do we really trust handing the ball, or are we just going to give him a route?
No. He gets a roll.
Yeah.
You don't just he gets a roll. None of these guys none of them have earned that. Okay, well, a couple things. We don't run the ball 25 times a game like I wish we would, but the most you're going to ask for out of one of our running backs, honestly, is like which one's going to get 15 touches, either rushing and receiving together, and that's pretty much how you look at our starting running back. So I think what you do, you still put Clyde as that number one, in my opinion. I know McKinnon looked the best at the end, but I think long term wise, if Clyde can stay healthy, that's still our best option. And you bring McKinnon in to kind of see if he can rekindle that flame that he had this year, then has the availability to kind of take over that position. So, but I love McKinnon because he's more of a out of the back receiving, but dude, he runs so hard, and so that's I really like McKinnon. It's kind of unfortunate that he came on so late that we didn't give him opportunity before.
He has that energy for sure.
Yeah. All right. Let's go real short. Neiman, yes or no? Y'all want back?
No.
No.
Okay. I feel indifferent. I like Neiman when he came out of college, but as an unrestricted free agent. But I can go no on that. Kyle Long, I don't think he got any playing time this year. No. We talked about it earlier. DeMarcus Robinson, I'm gonna take this as a big no across the board from all three of us.
Yeah, that overtime still surprises me that we went to that guy twice in a row, and he's got to go. He just hurts watching.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that's why, but the fact that we even I know play calls sometimes call for certain routes to be number ones, but I don't put that on DeMarcus Robinson.
No.
Number one on that. Other guys were open. Pat just didn't make the right call on that one. It's what it is.
And honestly, if you look up like our top highlights since Patrick Mahomes has been here, honestly, DeMarcus Robinson's probably going to be in 2/3 or like a third of them.
Oh no, he's going to. All right, dude. Hold on, dude. Fucking. All right, this is where we got problems. If you say Patrick Mahomes 100 top plays, right? You might get 5 DeMarcus Robinson plays.
Hell no.
And three of them came from one game versus Oakland when he had 4 fucking touchdowns.
Right.
You're tripping.
Dude, I'm telling you, watch him. I've
watched him for the last 6 years.
I'm telling you, look up Patrick Mahomes' top 100 plays since he's been in the league, and I promise you, DeMarcus Robinson, wearing multiple numbers, has had big plays. I'm just being honest. I'm not a fan of him. He has a lot of drop passes, but I'm saying when he does make plays, sometimes they're big plays.
There's a lot of bombs to Hill. There's a lot of plays to Kelsey. There was a crazy play to a running back in the end zone at the goal line. I just don't think you see DeMarcus Robinson on there 33 times.
No, you just
okay. Maybe not 33 times, but I'm telling you.
Well, actually, it would have been 66. You said 2/3. So.
And then I went back to a third.
Not even a third. Dude, you might see him 4 or 5 times total.
I'm just telling you, it was like top 50.
Hell no, bro. I won't let you got right now.
10. I might give you 10 out of 100.
All right.
10? You're telling me 10% of fucking Mahomes' top 100 plays has been to Robinson? 10%.
Look it up, bro. I
That
promise
number
you.
just sounds fucking ridiculous.
I mean, no, trust me. I hate myself for saying that, but it's way better than 33, and it's hella better than 66.
Yeah, this is true. Maybe it's just because I don't want to believe it, and maybe I'll have to go look at Patrick Mahomes highlights tonight now. Because
I'm gonna check it out for sure.
Right, I'm like, I'm gonna count them. Like, no, it was fucking 6.7%, motherfuckers. So,
I didn't make the motherfucker. That's for sure.
that's fine. It was just whatever it is. I'll just whatever it is. I'll go through and like, okay. But the biggest game, Robinson has had big plays, but now like it's kind of is that more of an indication on that Pat just set him up, or that he went out and made a huge fucking play? The only time I can think about it is really Oakland when he went up and caught a ball in the end zone and just snatched it away from dude.
Bro, I'm telling you,
That was 4 years ago.
Like 4 of them were with him wearing number 14, so that's pre-Sammy
If
Watkins.
he was number 14, he was with Alex Smith.
Well, it said Patrick Mahomes, bro. I'm just telling you, like.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying if it was 14, because Robinson switched his number to 11 after Alex Smith left.
Well,
All right, so first off, Demarcus Robinson got way too much time on here, just like he got way too much playing time on the field. So, yes or no, Blake Bell? Doesn't matter.
No,
Sure,
You got Noah's fan or Noah?
I think if they utilize that QB sneak with Blake Bell more often on 4th and 1, I'd be cool with it. But I'm not.
I think we used it at the right amount. What we did, we got stupid trying to do an option. Nah, we did at least 5 times, I bet you. Yeah, you can't do that too much, man. So, but I like how Andy, after Patrick got hurt, Andy's like, "Look, motherfuckers, we will never, ever run a quarterback sneak," which
Right.
I kind of get. But at some point, I wish we would just throw him off and be like, all right, Pat did do a quarterback sneak. What's the chances of him fucking dislocating his kneecap like that again? So.
Yeah, I agree.
Half a billion dollars though.
I know, man, but shit. I mean, it's just a lot of quarterbacks do it and they don't get hurt. I've never seen that in my life. I've never seen that happen. So.
Yeah, that was freak for sure. But
it was super freak accident. And what that was after his MVP season, and we're like, all right, this is we got to protect this man at all costs. That's why I with Blake Bell, I'm cool with him coming back. As a backup receiver, and he does offer backup tight end. I'm sorry, he does offer like Justin what he's saying that go under the quarterback wildcat position to do quarterback sneaks. I think so the next guy who I think is a little underrated when it comes to his importance, but he will be 31 when he starts the year. Alex Okafor. We'll start with you, Justin.
I feel like for the money, it's worth it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think so. Here's what I was saying at the beginning of this. What we did last year, we changed the whole offensive line. I mean, we came in and switched it up. We realized that, hey, our offensive line is our problem. So let's just completely fix it. Let's get new guys in here. Let's draft guys. Let's bring in other guys. With the defense, I'm not saying I want him gone, but I would not have a problem just seeing like almost a whole new set of guys coming in. Same way we attacked offense.
Yeah, that's I actually haven't thought about it as far as like just completely switching that up, and I would say that's probably our weakest position depth on defense. I think we're going to need a little more help at linebacker as far as depth.
I mean, we put trust into Willie Gay and Nick Bolton, and now look, they're running the show. I mean, let's give some new guys some opportunities and see what happens.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I guess it's kind of, we talked about McKinnon a little bit. Michael Burton, I think he had certain flashes there. I think Burton's kind of Andy seems to find these fullbacks that are serviceable to us. I'm gonna skip down here to Orlando Brown. Do we franchise tag?
Yeah.
Yes, without a doubt. not
Do
even
we
question.
franchise tag to long-term contract, or we just say fuck it? Because we have the capability of franchising 2 years in a row. Do you have him play out that franchise tag and then see what happens, or you just go ahead and resign him now?
I say we franchise tag him and we lock him in, lock the padlock, throw away the key. We need that guy on our O line.
I don't know. I feel like there was times where I was like, gosh, he's supposed to be like all that, and I feel like I don't know. There's a few play. I feel like we should franchise him and wait for sure.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
seen time and time again me thinking like, oh, Orlando Brown, like, everyone was talking like he was gonna be like Zeus, like he was gonna come in and just completely be like, oh, I'm Aaron Donald on the other side of the ball. But also, I think if you look at last season, there was a lot of Pat being uncomfortable. And I don't think it was because of the O line. I think Pat is used like he likes to be swifty. He likes that, like, that swagger. And with that comes scrambling the second you get the ball, running here, running there. You see a lot of that in our offense. I think it eventually comes down to like people point, oh, it's the O line, oh, it's this guy. But at the same time, I think it's just because Pat likes to run around. He likes to make those sidearm throws. He likes to be parallel with the ground. He likes seeing that. He likes seeing that he could do that. I think that's part of the reason that O line kind of got looked at sideways for a little bit.
I feel like that's
Okay.
another reason
Hold on,
to
hold on,
not.
Justin. Hold on, Justin. Let me interject while I got this thought in my head. So I also think maybe Pat's not used to a fucking clean pocket after these few years because there's been times where he's had an absolutely clean pocket. He's instead of either stepping up and getting rid of the ball, he tends to belt uh, to either side of the field, not so much up the field.
Right.
So some of those sacks were given up on Pat for sure, but there was definitely some times where um, either side of the tackles, if we were to get smoked, it was either going to be left tackle or right tackle. There's definitely times where you've seen, especially early in the season, and I thought it got better throughout. I think people had too high of expectations because that we did rebuild this offensive line that from the get-go we're going to be these fucking road graders, like towards the middle to the end of the season. I thought we was that. I thought that our offensive line was. I thought their strength was actually run blocking. Then we got better at pass blocking. So I think last year's not a fair assessment of kind of what the line that we built or what our expectations were. This isn't Madden. You don't get to just bring these ratings over and fucking have that
Right.
line be top tier. So
Right.
I think this year's more of an indication of the assets that we brought in. So, but when it comes to Orlando Brown, I think it's A, yes, you franchise him, and B, I think you re-sign him because what I'm afraid of is now that you have this camaraderie, he does become that dominant left tackle. And now instead of him being like a 15 to $16 million left tackle, now he's a $20 million left tackle. So you save your assets locking him in now. And granted, there is a risk because who's to say it doesn't go the wrong way, but I think you'll see him end up being more comfortable this year. Take that next tier. He was definitely one of the for a guy also who's playing left tackle for a full season for the first time. You still see, and he's so young that I can see him taking that next step. So it's one of those things. I think you have to lock him up now. I think we'll see the fruits of his labor moving to left tackle next year, and we'll be more. We're definitely going to have four of the same starters on the line next year,
Yeah.
and there's not all across the board. You like them. The only thing that I think we're worried about is right tackle. So maybe Andy hits on that this year.
Nah, I don't know. I I didn't really see anything from him, and like you said, like Pat was uncomfortable, but I feel like it has more to do with like he came from a run scheme offense in Baltimore, and now he's playing with new guys on top of a pass scheme offense, and it's like I want to see more from him before I guarantee him some money. Because what if he ends up being a $10 million offensive tackle instead of a 15? It goes both ways.
I still think there's value in that because that's called Eric Fisher.
Yeah. Oh God, don't go
Like
there with me.
no. Hold on. You can't. I don't think you can disrespect Eric Fisher like that. Did he absolutely struggle in the beginning of his time? Did he become an absolute left tackle? You could eventually that was dependable. Maybe he was never a top five, top. Yeah, but he was definitely a top 10 left tackle at some point. So
Yeah.
like. Was he overpaid maybe for a couple years? Yeah, for sure. I mean, definitely with him coming out of the draft before they restructured how the draft contracts are now. So if he comes out to be Eric Fisher for the next 5-6 years and he's making $15 million a year, is that what I want? No, but is that what I'm comfortable with? Absolutely.
I'd rather draft another Creed Humphrey or Trey Smith.
Hey, Creed.
Yeah, that's easier said than done. So
I know, but they pulled it off.
But that's like why didn't they do that every other year though? You know what I mean? That's not.
My main thing with
said.
Orlando. My main thing with Orlando. I mean, is there a better option out there? Like, you move on from him. What do you do after that? You just sign some rando and put him there, and hope he's good.
You don't move on from him. You franchise tag him and see how he plays, and then look at your options. I think.
Well, so that's also a scary idea because you have to know that these players they understand the franchise tag, but there got to be a little fucking saltiness about it because now I got to play on another 1-year contract after my rookie contract. These guys are looking for that long-term guaranteed money. So if you franchise them without a long-term contract, he may just what's the indication that he's going to be like, all right, fuck it, I'll resign here if he does become that top-tier player? Why would he not just say, I'll play it out, hit free agency, and be able to get a bigger deal wherever somebody could pay him?
I don't know. I feel like the risk. I mean, I think he'll understand. He didn't even play left tackle Baltimore. He played run. I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's worth the risk. I mean, I would think he would understand it. Obviously, we don't have money for you right now. We're going to franchise tag you, save some money, get some money together, and we're going to sign you to a big deal. You don't think he'd understand
Actually,
that?
no. So hold on. That's where I'll stop you. Actually, you'll save money right now signing them to a long-term deal. That franchise, I believe it's like 16, 17 mil against the cap because it's a 1 year. It's a top 5 prorated, and I believe. So what you can end up doing is you end up backloading that contract. So you end up saving money this year to help build the team. So where the risk is in year 3, 4, 5 when that number exceeds that the cap number exceeds what the franchise tag possibly could be.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I don't know.
When does Patrick Mahomes start breaking our bank?
Shit,
because that's big. That's big too. Because I mean, that's a lot of money. You think he makes too much
I think
money?
he's hitting like 20, 30 mil this year. Hold on. But that's a great question.
I think it was like 28 is what I think. I may be wrong. I don't know. I feel like our offensive line is pretty solid right now for the most part. But we don't, like you said, Patrick was uncomfortable a lot. In Orlando, when it come to run blocking, he was great. Like, I thought that was his strength for sure. But when it come, like you said, seemed like every time someone got beat, it was either one of the tackles. So if we could not see that out of him for, the first couple months and then sign him to a contract, I'm okay with that. I mean, honestly, I'd be okay if they sign him to a 5-year deal, but I just hope he turns out to be what he's supposed to be.
Pretty much this is the first year that it hits as far as big salary cap. Granted, it's not the 40 million, 45 million like it is next year, but 35 million is the cap unless he figures out how to restructure, I believe, his roster bonus or something like that. his bonus and kind of prolong it into
Do you see
years that.
restructuring in this in the future? Like, look at 2027,
Oh,
for example.
oh,
No, I
absolutely.
think that I could absolutely see him having like restructuring every single year, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just
he's
I
gonna
think
have.
that the
He's
money
got to
stays the same.
understand
I
that.
just think that it kind of goes towards uh, the end. So, and if you look at it, a lot of his stuff is his dead cap is kind of at the beginning. Like this year, if we was to cut him, we'd owe him 92 million. Next year, 56, then 10. Then so what that does, that gives us the availability to when you restructure. He has no dead cap from the age of 31 to 36. So us being able to restructure him almost every year and take, he still gets that money, but it's pretty much you put it at the back end of the contract. So each year, I think we'll have the availability to open up um, some cap space. Like, do I think that he'll ever hit that $60 million mark? Almost 59 million. I mean, who knows? It all depends on what the salary cap in the league is going to be at that time. So, but yeah, it's one of those things where I was hearing that possibly if he restructures, we can save up to $20 million in cap. So this year, and then you got Frank Clark at 10 million or 8 million. I think that we saved. So
Hitchens?
well, Hitchens, yeah. Plus Hitchens saves you.
That was like
Uh,
8.4, wasn't it?
yeah, that you're going to save on him. So what I think, dude. So what guys? What I think that is that we're going to get into this off season, and I think we're going to end up with big name players more than people expect. Which is already, we was $4 million under the cap before we started, which is better than we had been before. And then with these types of um, players that we're potentially restructuring, cutting that I think that you'll end up with some bigger names that come to the Kansas City Chiefs next year.
You think one of those is wide receiver?
I hope not.
You
Yeah,
hope
me
not.
too.
You're comfortable with who we
I
got?
hope not.
Yeah.
No, not that I hope that's who we got. I'd rather I don't need a big name receiver. Now Allen Robinson is one of those guys, but I don't think his name kind of fits that criteria anymore.
No.
It's like he had a quote unquote off season last year, so it's one of those things where um, uh, his market value wasn't what it was 2 years ago. So he's not going to. I don't think he's going to be a top 5 paid receiver out of this wide receiver free agency class. Maybe he is. Uh, who I'm interested in and shit. It's the kid from Jacksonville. I can't think of his name.
Chark? Is that what you're
Yes,
talking about?
DJ Chark. I would love to see a guy like Chark come here. So like that's the type of tier of receiver that I kind of see us going after. A guy who's had success in the past, but isn't going to break the bank. So a $5-6 million receiver.
So you're wanting to target defense.
Absolutely.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think if we target our defense as strong, if not stronger than we did our offense last year, we're in the Super Bowl without a doubt.
Oh,
Yeah,
for sure.
dude. After you said it, I'm all online with doing what we did to the defense line, or what we did the offense line to the defensive line. I think that we're pretty deep. Well, I think we need to bring in young guys as linebackers. I think we're deep at corner, if
Mhm.
depending on who stays and who goes. And then obviously Matthew's a big one. You wasn't on the show earlier when we talked about it, Joey. What's your thoughts on Matthew? Retain him, let him go.
This question is hard. Every time I get asked this question, my answer is the opposite from last time. Uh,
I feel you.
you like him as a leader for sure. I mean, you even like him as a player. I just think he's past time, if that makes any sense. Obviously, he's a good player to have out there, but I'm the type of person I'm all for bringing in new guys and developing them. But at the same time, if our plan's not to attack the defense like we did the offense last year, you have to sign Honey Badger. If not, I mean, you're literally just getting worse, and that's all you did. So, I mean, you have to attack the defense. If you're going after, say, we go after Allen Robinson or Calvin Ridley or something, and we just throw some chump money on defense. Like, you have to find a way to get Honey Badger back in the building. Now, if you're coming in and attacking the defense, I think you might be able to get away with letting him go and just just work with some young guys.
I think you gotta have some type of veteran presence in that secondary, and we already lost Hitchens, so I think we definitely got to keep Honey Badger, even if we bring in new guys.
We could just keep Dan Sorensen.
No,
I knew you guys
Dirty
wouldn't like
Dan, Dirty Dan, baby.
no.
All right, gentlemen. So, all right. So we'll kind of lead off with or end off with this. If there's one person that you could add to the team that maybe is a potential trade candidate or free agent, who would you like to bring to the Chiefs this year?
Jesse Bates.
Jesse Bates.
That would
Bengals.
be crazy. That would be crazy.
That would be. That's a name I hadn't thought about. Is he a free agent or?
He's available. He's available.
Okay.
If you're going to dump some money on Honey Badger, If you're going to dump some money on Honey Badger, you might want to just think about dumping it on Jesse Bates.
That dude. That's not a bad idea, especially because I believe he's a few years younger as well.
Yep.
So.
That's exactly what I was going to say, but since he said it, I would say like maybe Stephon Gilmore or Marshawn Lattimore. One of those two. I mean, like I said, some type of veteran presence. Like,
yeah. So I guess if we'll stick to secondary, I'd like to see Poyer from Buffalo.
Yeah, that's nice too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to Poyer from Buffalo. I think he's been an underrated safety for a lot of years now. So if we can't, even if we do bring back Matthew, maybe bring or be able to bring a guy in like that. But I don't know. I think the defensive line is the most important thing that we can do out of anything.
Okay,
gotta hit it hard.
If they go offensive player on the free agency list, who you want?
Allen Robinson.
Kareem Hunt.
I think Allen Robinson is an elite receiver. He just hasn't had the quarterback to prove it.
You wouldn't rather have Devontae Adams?
No, he's too much money.
Adams ain't going nowhere, bro. At worst he's gonna be tagged.
Even if he did, he's too much money. It's too much money.
Yeah, that's not feasible. So, I mean, yeah, that's obviously obviously you would have absolutely nobody besides the minimum player contracts on your defense. You'd have to cut Chris Jones. You literally would have nobody on your defense.
You bring in a guy like Adams, you're not extending Tyreek Hill at all. You can't even think about it. You don't have enough money. You're asking Pat to go another year of not making any money. Like, he's too much. He needs to stay over in Green Bay. Plus, if A-Rod doesn't go anywhere, if they both are, if one of them leaves, they're both leaving. I don't see them both leaving, so I see them both returning over there also.
If they leave, where do they go?
They're not leaving.
I don't even think it's a question. I think social media blew that up into a bigger question than what it was in the first place.
I don't know. I think it's pretty fishy how the offensive coordinator went to Denver. I think
why? Why is that fishy? He went and got a job. He went and got a job with one of the better young rosters in the NFL. The Broncos have a good defense. The only thing, and I get it, like what you're doing is missing a quarterback that will help solidify that team for sure. If anything, that would be the kind of the team to go to begin with, because that team as a whole is kind of more built around. I don't think he has an expectation of like, oh, I'm bringing fucking A-Rod with me.
Do you see what they want for Aaron? It's like two first rounds. It's like 2 first rounds, a second round, and a fourth, or something like that.
Yeah, sounds right.
Why wouldn't they do it?
Why? Who?
The Broncos.
Denver? No, I agree. I'm not saying it's that. I just don't think that like that's a foregone conclusion that he's going to Denver.
Oh, no, for sure.
A-Rod doesn't do that, though. I think that's what people fail to understand. A-Rod's whole thing with Green Bay, get me guys, and get me guys that are ready to do it now. You go into Denver, you have to understand this is going to take some time. A-Rod don't have time. A-Rod
You
doesn't
think
have
so?
time. You think
They got.
you think he comes in and beats the Chiefs?
I think they come in and
I,
I think they're automatically. I think they're automatically Super Bowl contenders. Absolutely.
their defense is better than ours. And then on top of that, you throw Aaron Rodgers with Jerry Judy. What's their tight end? Noah Fant. I mean, dude, I think
Dude, he's had Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones, and he's still not satisfied. And you just named a receiver that's way worse than Devontae Adams.
So I don't think that it's those two guys who's still not satisfied. I think it's kind of what the deal is like he has had no say so because all these top tier
Right.
quarterbacks have some type of say and just like we've heard the stories with Veach and Reed with calling up Mahomes like, hey, what do you think of this guy? To where he wasn't getting that type of. I don't think like he was feeling. Um, uh, I don't know the respect it as far as like that for the top tier quarterback deserves. So I mean that's why they brought back a Randall Cobb this year, and that's why maybe they brought back his old quarterback coach to hopefully retain him. So it's just I don't think I don't think the question is either he's going to retire, which I don't think he is, or he's going back to Green Bay. I think that's the two things.
Well, I was just saying, if he went somewhere, where would he go?
If he goes somewhere,
Unless
if he
Tom
goes
Brady, Brett
somewhere, let
Favre's
it
this
be.
thing. Oh, my bad. If less Tom Brady, Brett Favre's this thing and retires, and comes back, retires, and come back, A-Rod right now has the spotlight on him. Like, to me,
Yep.
just strictly on him now. So I think this is his best opportunity. There's no way he walks away from Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones to go to some guys that might get the job done when he
Right.
knows these guys can get the job done and he doesn't even have to get through Tom Brady right now.
I don't know. Maybe he wants to go to San Francisco.
They got Melvin Gordon. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I think
No. Well, Melvin Gordon ain't going to be a Bronco next year. Yeah, he had a good season, not this last year, but the year before. I think that if we're talking fantasy, fucking speaking here, the either the Niners would be his best option, or a team like the Colts.
I can see the Colts, but not
I
the
mean,
Niners.
He's way better than Carson Wentz. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, for sure. All right, gentlemen. Any last words before we sign off here? Anything that we'll start with you, Justin? Anything for you, brother?
Just sign that veteran presence in the secondary. That's all I ask for. Go Chiefs.
Joey, what you got for me, brother?
I will be on the show with you guys again. Next time, this won't be my background right here. I'll make sure I have some better stuff back here for you to look at. And in a couple of years, I'll have this back there again, too, somewhere.
Get the fuck out of here. So we won't even talk about backgrounds. I'm at work, and I'm going to got a dirty-ass window blind here. But this has better internet connection than my house. So, you get what you get next time. So, on that, I will tell everybody, go follow me on all social media at Adam Frex, pretty much across the board. Go check my guys at Interstate 70 Sports Media. Check out Roundabout Sports that comes on Wednesday nights at 7:30 with the Maestro. Other than that, y'all have a good night and go Chiefs. If I can find the fucking end button. Later, y'all.